Welcome to Daily Life Connection. We're going to continue to explore the names of God and how it reveals his heart to us today. And perhaps this name that we're going to explore today is a little more familiar to you. It's the term El Shaddai. El Shaddai. Way back a long time ago, Amy Grant had a very popular song called El Shaddai. El Shaddai. El Elyon Adonai. God who is the same from age to age. El Shaddai. Well, the first time we find that in the scriptures is in Genesis chapter 35. And God is talking and working with Jacob. You remember Jacob's name meant grasper or deceiver? And all through his life, Jacob had always been trying to get more. He was never satisfied, it seems, with what he had. He was always trying to get more. He was always trying to get more lands. He was always trying to get another wife. He was always trying to grasp and hold on to everything. So that's really interesting in what God reveals to him in this verse of Genesis chapter 35 and verse 11. God appeared to Jacob again when he came from Paddan Aram, and he blessed him. God said to him, "Your name is Jacob. No longer shall you be called Jacob, but Israel shall be your name." So he was called Israel. And God said to him, "I am El Shaddai. Be fruitful and multiply. A nation and a company of nations shall come from you, and kings shall spring from you." So God reveals himself to Jacob as El Shaddai. As he changes his name, Israel goes from being the grasper to being a prince of God. It changed his identity. And he reveals at that moment to Jacob he is El Shaddai. Well, there's not 100% certainty with what that word Shaddai means. The most common acceptance of what it means is that it means the God of more than enough. The God of more than enough. In the Passover ceremony, where the Jewish people, when they celebrate Passover, they sing a song called "It Would Have Been Enough," Dayenu. It's more than enough. If you'd only done this for us, that would have been more than enough. And it's thought that that word Dayenu, it's thought Shaddai is the same derivative. And therefore, this is the God of more than enough. So that's what we're going to look at today. It could also possibly mean the God of the mountains. I'm the God of the mountains. Again, kind of referring to what's more than enough. Not just a hill, but a mountain. So we're going to look at that idea of he is the God who is more than enough. I am so thankful for that, Sometimes we have heard things like, well, when we need grace, God will give us just enough. I don't think that's true. I think he's El Shaddai. I think he always gives us more than enough. More than enough. Isn't it wonderful, when you sit down to a meal and it's a really delicious meal, it's really prepared nicely, and you look at the plate and you realize there's more than enough here. There's more than I need here. This wonderful truth today that God is El Shaddai is a reminder to you and I that whatever we need today, he is more than enough. My God shall supply all your needs, and not just enough, but more than enough. You remember when God took his people from the desert into the promised land. It was a land of more than enough, overflowing with milk and honey and pastures and water, and it was a land of more than that's El Shaddai, the God who is the God of more than enough. This is the word Shaddai. It may refer to a feminine aspect of God, actually, a nurturing, supplying, like a mother looks after her baby, like a mother will make sure that her child doesn't have just enough to get by, but more than enough. And that's the concept of El Shaddai. He is the God of more than enough. He supplies us more than enough mercy, more than enough grace, more than enough love, more than enough compassion, more than enough protection, more than enough of everything that God is. It's there in abundant supply. He will supply our needs abundantly. He has come that we may have life and have it to the full. Our God is El Shaddai, the God of more than enough. something really great to think about today, isn't it? And as we worship, as we praise him, as we spend time with him, to just thank him that he doesn't want to see us just get by. He wants us to, he said to Jacob, I want you to flourish. I want you to flourish. I want you to thrive. I want your life to be rich and full. That's the God of more than enough. Now, you know what? I mean, sometimes we may think my life isn't rich and full, but I think if we stop and think about what's really important, our lives are rich and full. Our lives are rich and full because he is the God of El Shaddai. That's who we love today. That's who we walk with. That's who we've been adopted into. Through Christ, he has brought us into the Father, into El Shaddai, into the place of more than enough. Wonderful news today. Lots to thank God for and to give him praise for. Let's think about that, and we'll talk again tomorrow.